Have you ever wondered why an author would decide to leave her job to write romance novels instead? Stick around to find out. I'm starting a brand new series with author Q&A, answering all the questions that my readers love to ask. Hey there, I'm Tara Grace Erickson, and I'm so glad you're here. Today I'm kicking off a brand new series of videos where I answer questions from readers. Like, how long does it take you to write a book? And why did you become an author? And where do your ideas come from? So, today I'm talking about why I became an author. And to understand that, we have to go way back. See, I was actually an engineer before I became an author, and I worked in the steel industry for 5 or 6 years as a sales engineer and a manufacturing engineer and a recruiter. And I loved it. I loved the problem solving, I loved the people, I loved the math. But God had other plans for me. And it started when I had my morning commute, and my 45-minute drive took me through a bunch of really small Indiana towns. And I would imagine what it would be like to live there and who lived there and what kind of conversations were taking place at that little tiny diner, or what does the wedding look like at that little white church. And so those stories and those fictional characters started rolling around in my head a long, long time ago. And then I also traveled a lot for that job. So one day there I was, stuck on an airplane for 5 hours or something with no internet and nothing really I needed to work on or could work on without a connection. So I opened up a Word document on my computer and I just started typing. I started telling the story of a woman who lived in the big city with her life all together, and it all kind of came crumbling down for her, and she couldn't deal with it. So she retreated and she found herself in the small town of Minden, Indiana. And I started telling the story and meeting the characters there. And I wrote probably about half of it. And then I put it away and stopped for a long time, several years at least, until a series of events happened and I was ready to leave my job and do something new. My husband was ready to leave his job and do something new. And so I quit and we relocated from Indiana to the Ozarks of Missouri. And my husband got a new job. And as I was looking for what my next job might be here, I kind of got the feeling that I wasn't supposed to get a job, which was a little scary because how do you go from two incomes to one? And I was not, I did not want to be a stay-at-home mom. I just didn't feel like I was supposed to get a job. So it was an interesting time, a lot of prayer, a lot of conversation between me and my husband. But at the end of the day, God really made it clear to me and to us that this is what I was supposed to do. And it was sort of that, remember that book that you never finished? You need to finish it. And so I dug it out. I had to track it down. We had gotten a new computer. I had to see if I had a flash drive with it on there or if I could pull it out of an old email that I had sent to someone. It took me several days to track it down, actually, but I did find it. It was on a little flash drive with Charlotte written on the label. And I found it and I opened it back up and I said, okay, if I'm supposed to do this, then let's do this. And about 6 months later, I published that book. It's called Falling on Main Street. You can get it now. It was my debut novel. And then a couple of months later, I published the sequel, Winter Wishes. And ever since, God has been so faithful to give me another story to tell and another story to tell and to grow my business and the opportunity I have to reach readers with stories that encourage them and entertain them. And I just love it. I never expected to be an author. It was never my dream. I'm not one of those people who, always wanted to do this or always dreamed of publishing their book. It was nowhere on my radar at all until God kind of hit me upside the head with it and said, no, this is what you're supposed to do. And I can just say that obedience in that area has been such a blessing. And sometimes God's plans are so different than what we expected, but so, so good. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed learning about why I became an author and my little bit unusual journey to get there. I'll be answering more questions in the weeks ahead. So if you have some, drop them in the comments below and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss anything. Thanks. Have a great day.